Hello students, welcome to ShirtBack Academy. In our lesson today we're going to be covering section 6.4 in the ITF Plus course. The topic for this lesson is AAA Security. Let's begin. AAA Security is a common framework model used to control access to network and computer resources. It stands for Authentication, Authorization, and Accounting. Authentication is the process of verifying the identity of a user for network or device access. Authorization is the scope of access given to authenticated users for system and applications. This could be features such as downloading files or accessing the internet. Accounting measures the resources that users consume while accessing the network or device. AAA servers are common network devices that can perform all functions of AAA security. AAA security requires understanding password best practices. All passwords should have at least 8 characters. They should include different character types to add strength to the password. We should use upper and lowercase letters, symbols, and numbers. We should require periodic password resets after certain lengths of time. A common reset time is 30 to 60 days. We should never reuse passwords across multiple systems. This is a big security no-no. We should require multi-factor authentication when logging from remote devices. Never use single words or phrases as your password. Common words such as password or football, or phrases such as I love you or happy birthday. Single sign-on is an access control property that allows a user to log in with one username and password. They can then gain access to multiple systems with the initial login. Single sign-on internally stores a user's credentials during the initial authentication. It then translates them for different systems. Federated identity is when a single sign-on is used across multiple internet and social media sites. This does require user consent on the first login with each new platform. Multi-factor authentication is a method where a computer user is granted access after presenting 2 or more identity types. We call each type a factor. There are 3 common ways to use multi-factor authentication: knowledge, possession, and inherence. Knowledge is something you know, such as a password. Possession would be something that you have, such as an access token. Inherence is something that you are, biometrics, such as a fingerprint. Many smartphone vendors offer built-in multi-factor authentication. We commonly use short message service, or SMS, which is text-based access codes. Other factors we may see are QR codes, authenticator apps, and software tokens. Hardware tokens are physical security objects that interact with a user's login system. They help to prove individual identity. Once authentication is verified, system access is granted. Hardware tokens may use random number generators or text strings as login credentials. Successful code entry is proof that the user is authorized for the system. Hardware tokens may also be plugged into workstations. We can use USB flash drives, smart cards, and serial ports. Many tokens will use multi-factor authentication by pairing tokens with another access form. Software tokens are 2-factor authentication tokens that authorize the use of computers. Tokens are stored on desktop PCs, laptops, and smartphones. Software tokens are not in a user's physical possession. They are replicated across devices that contain the software application. Shared secret are administratively configured files that will contain the username, PIN, and secret answer questions for each user. Public key cryptography uses remote servers to store and authenticate PIN numbers. This helps to prevent many software-based attacks. Biometrics are physical human characteristics used to authenticate and provide access to individuals. Each person has unique individual biometrics. Several common biometric access types include fingerprint scans, facial recognition, palm prints, and iris or retina recognition. Biometric lock technology will scan the physical feature of the person and compare that to existing access controls. While biometrics are expensive, they are very difficult to compromise and a growing security technology. Operating systems require the setting up of user accounts for anyone to use the computer. There are three common user types available for configuration: Administrator, Standard, and Guest. Administrator will control the entire computer. They can set up user accounts and determine access levels for each one. Standard users are the most common. They can run existing programs on the system, but typically cannot install or download new ones. Guest users have no authentication or privacy. They're used primarily for basic computer features such as internet browsing. The operating system will list all available user accounts on the screen when it's powered on or waking from sleep mode. Principle of least privilege is commonly abbreviated as POLP. It's a security concept that a user should have access to the information that's necessary for their job. User accounts should only have privileges for their daily work functions. An example would be allowing users to do file backups but not software downloads. Operating system core processes should only allow administrator privilege. Device drivers and installation should be something left to that level. Most applications abide by the principle of least privilege, so all users may need to access the use process features. Account management is the process of restricting user permissions to workstation security. As the administrator, you don't want users accessing confidential or sensitive data that's unrelated to their individual needs. Disabling guest accounts will limit unwanted users from browsing the internet or downloading items to the computer. We should always change default administrator credentials, as many websites may list the different initial admin defaults for operating systems. Workstation security should include limiting the number of failed logons and a screen lock after a certain length of inactivity. Share permissions allow multiple users to access a folder across a network from remote devices. These can be accessed by right-clicking the folder and then clicking on Properties. There are three common shared permissions: full control, change, and read. Full control allows a user to read and modify files within the folder. They can also add or delete files in any subdirectory folders. Change allows a user to modify data within a folder, but they cannot delete them. Read allows a user to only view file data with no modification features. Locator applications are designed to find lost or stolen mobile devices. They require installation and configuration on the mobile device. Locator apps use a mobile device's radio signal to help determine its location. Three common ways to use locator applications are cellular towers, Wi-Fi hotspots, and GPS. Cellular towers can identify a mobile device location through a process called triangulation. Wi-Fi hotspots will help to detect signals of known files on the mobile device. GPS stands for Global Position Signaling. It is a cellular technology that helps to determine the device's precise location. ACL stands for Access Control Lists. Access control lists are tables that specify which users or devices are granted access to the network or system. File system ACLs specify which users or groups have access to files within the system. Active Directory will contain all access configurations within a specific network domain. Networking ACLs are the tables of IP addresses and switch port numbers that carry network traffic. Database ACLs provide management within SQL relational databases. That will conclude this lesson. In our next lesson, we will cover Section 6.5, Password Best Practices. If you have any questions about the contents of this lesson, please review the course notes or exam objectives for Section 6.4. We thank you for following along to the video. We'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day.